Hi there, I'm Chris Von Hall. I am the creator of the film It Waits at the Lodge, which is a 40-minute found footage horror film that it's solo. I made it entirely myself. I directed it, I wrote it, I acted in it, I produced it, I did all those things. It's a very minimalist film, but as you can imagine, I ran into a number of problems, but one of the biggest and probably my favorite of all is the fact that I omitted a very important line in the first scene of the film, which this is part of that scene right here. Hi there, I'm Chris Sanders, and it's 4 o'clock on Sunday, June 10th. Yeah, so funnily enough, I kind of wound up somewhat repeating a line in a way in that scene, and I was supposed to have a very important line in place of one of those two. And it was very tough because, as you could see in that scene, everything was set up. I had the camera on the windshield. I actually had to drive out a ways to film. It's a little ways away from where I live and whatnot, because I wanted to find a really remote area which would be perfect for the scene. So it's really, not a big deal, but as you can imagine, when I came back, looked at the footage, it was hard to do because my camera was actually on the shield, like actually when I was there. So when I came back and I saw that that line was omitted, I was quite angry, as you can imagine, because I had to take the camera and everything off, and I would have to go back out there just to reshoot for one line, which would be incredibly annoying. So there was a lot of cursing and whatnot. No, but I was definitely extremely annoyed. But I had the problem solved. I was very lucky that the second scene, which starts off like this. All right, so just pulling in to Solitary Lodge now. So as you can see in that scene, my character is actually behind the camera, which was actually incredibly important for me to be able to fix it the way I did. I got really lucky, I have to say, because I was able to overlay a line that I said separately, recorded separately, and then overlaid it during the editing at a certain point in that scene. And actually, I'll show you that little section right now. The other garage apparently is undergoing renovations at the moment. So let's see. Oh, and yeah, the owner actually lives here. He just rents the place out whenever he's away on business, which is apparently a lot. I guess I will refrain from bringing in my suitcase until I've checked out the place first. So as you can see, that whole line there's a part that sounds different. It's kind of canned in there, and that's the one that contains the really important information, because people who, when you're watching and it goes into the house after that certain part, and people are going to be like, well, why does this place look lived in? At least this line is to kind of helps them suspend their disbelief, if you will, of why it appears that way. And to be frank, this was my parents' house, so it's going to look lived in unless I did a huge, crazy cleanup job, but that's really unnecessary, given the minimalist story that I was trying to tell. So that's why it was so important to get that line in there, and right at that moment, it was like kind of my last chance to get that in there. And that's why, funnily enough, it sounds kind of canned, but it kind of worked out well, I think, because as the car goes, I try to time it so that as the car is going into the garage, it sounds almost like it's the garage that's kind of creating that kind of hollowish sound or canned sound, if you will. And in reality, obviously it's overlaid, and you could see that the car windows are closed, so you wouldn't really be getting that sound anyway. But I think it's a movie, and there are all types of little weird mistakes or things that happen, that need to be covered up, and someone who's just watching it, so far I haven't heard anyone catch that or say like, oh, wait a minute, that audio sounded different than the rest, and like, oh, the windows, the windows are up, so how would it sound like that? And I asked people even while watching, and they had no idea. So I was like, oh, I got really lucky. I was able to solve that problem, and I think it turned out well, and thankfully it didn't ruin my movie. So anyway, sometimes you get lucky. So anyway, that's it for today's behind the scenes. Maybe I'll have more of these, but if not, enjoy the film if you get to watch it, and until next time.